We know there's something bigger than that.
Yeah.
And we're in these scriptures.
Yeah.
That's what I like. We're a part of it.
And
That's
so
what's beautiful to me. We're part of this.
Yeah.
Yes. It's our calling.
Yeah, we're in there.
We're in there. Yeah.
We're behind
That's
those
what I love, And when I'm reading, and we all do this. We're reading in the book of Ephesians and we keep realizing, oh my, that's me. That's me right there.
Wow.
See, that's my understanding of what happened to Jesus. Jesus reading the Old Testament prophets, and he's like, oh man, that verse is about me.
Right.
This is talking about me. He not only reading the words, but he has realization that they're him. Isaiah 53 is him. All these other, Psalm 22 is him. He's reading all these passages, all the messianic prophecies, and he realizes, he has realization that they're him. And we read Ephesians and we're like, oh man, I was called before the disruption. I was chosen before the disruption of the world. Not somebody, not some people down the road. It was me. Yeah. You start, and how did that happen? Realization, imposed it. Now when I'm reading Ephesians, it's all being imposed on me. Mm-hmm. This is my story, and it's our story. And, and if people are listening and they like, you guys are, well,
Yeah, I was going to talk about that with Chris. That's where my struggle. I have a struggle with.
Who are you?
Yeah, you get to all that, but then it even goes beyond that, right? Well, it's the same. It's the example like you used of Jesus. You can instantly go, and then look what happened when he had to, for 30 years. Maybe he wasn't obviously talking about it. There came a time when it was imposed on his life by Father that, all right, son, it's time to go.
Get up.
Here we go.
Get up. Here we go.
Wow, that was part. I don't understand I didn't understand the deal. It's like, well, all he did was present almost perfect love. But it's like, here we go. We're going to turn the love up.
Yeah.
And look what happened.
Yeah.
And it's just crushing to me.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking in that sense, in that physical realm of,
And it brought to light, and that divine operation of love brought to light its opposite, hate.
I know.
And they had a showdown.
Yeah. Right.
The climax of that story, the final episode of that first season of the story of the life of Christ had that dramatic contrast between good and evil on the cross, and glorious stuff.
And what's cool too, just to finish on then what I struggle. I'm coming out of it a little bit because, I do it by making statements of, I wonder how much we should say. Like you referenced, you kind of qualified. Now, wait a minute, someone out there might get this message of, who do you think you are? You're comparing yourself to Jesus, or what? You think now you know something? Or I said we're in these scriptures, so you can get all that. And that's fine. And there may be a time to be guarded about particular things, but there's certainly not a time what I'm hopefully springing up in me. And I know what happened in Jesus' life. The people around him, he loved them, and they loved him.
They did.
And it was same with Paul. And it's beautiful where we can do that. We can be those dispensers of Christ, of love. There's no fear about, who cares? Somebody's going to make fun of us. Who makes fun of when you're being loved? That's what they need. That's what they want.
Yeah.
They're not going to persecute me when Christ is loving them. I mean, it gets silly.
Yeah.
So all those things become distractions along my journey about trying to, put it in boxes or get it in realms where I can explain it.
Right.
I have give up on all that.
I have tried to. I've had members of my family push back when I talk about Paul's realization.
Yeah.
And I use that word, and I say things like my current understanding that Darson Buckner gave me or us, he starts things like, well, my current understanding. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That speaks to my journey. This is where Father has me today. And I don't know what the word is, but it becomes inconvenient for the person you're talking to for me to say, well, I'm waiting on realization. They don't like that. I don't know if inconvenience is the right word, but they don't. I mean, I don't always get a real good response to, well, this is where I'm at, and I'm just going to be patient and wait for realization or greater understanding, realization to this. And I'm comfortable with that. And
yes,
I'm being honest, that's the transformation you're talking about.
Yes.
I'm comfortable. But the person I'm sharing with, it clearly is not.
They're uncomfortable.
Yes. Yes. They want, let's go down this road a little further.
Right.
And I'm already seeing there's no reason we're talking about apples and oranges here. We're not, you know. And I'd almost be afraid of causing greater discomfort, you know.
Right. So what we have here in that Colossians 1, 6, and 7, what we have is we have the dispenser of Christ, who is Epaphras, who's bringing the information. And then the information has to be heard. And then there has to be a divine operation of realization. So the point there is that we don't discourage information. We don't discourage gnosis. And in fact, that's all we've got as far as ministry. We can't minister realization. We can't.
Right.
We aren't the imposers.
That's right. That's right.
But we are the presenters, you know. As Steve Martin says, and I have it here on my wall, and so I look at it all the time. We're just presenters, not persuaders.
Yeah. I like that.
The persuasion comes from the divine imposition.
Yeah.
From that superimposing of this information. So you know what? I am open. I'm open to gnosis, and this study Bible project. I am finding every resource that I could possibly get my hands on. I try to read every translation I can find on a verse. I try to read every dictionary source of information. You know what I'm looking for as I'm just going along? I'm looking for things that resonate.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, oh, so there's like 7 definitions of this Greek word, and I'm reading and I'm like, no, that's not even right. You know, that discredits the scriptures. And then I read one, I'm like, oh, that one's it, you know. And I read all these translations and I see all these poor words. And then you see one and you're like, that's it right there.
I so appreciate that.
Yeah,
and that journey where Father has you, I just feel, if there's anything just to encourage to keep opening that fork and go. Don't be scared. In the knowledge realm, in this realm, you said all this information, that's all we got. That's all we got. But like you said, right now in the age we live right now, today, you, Clyde Cohen, it's all there at your fingertips.
It is.
So there's no fear. You go anywhere. Go in places that you've never been, that you're scared to go to, as far as the whatever.
And I'm
like weird, some kind of scientific world. Because who knows where Father is it's going to be like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
And I've been trained. We're all trained in thinking in a narrow way. Well, we're going to find it right here. It's in the Bible. You know, you just look at the Bible and there it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
A little bit more than that.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a true story.
Yeah, there's a little bit more to it. There's Epaphras. He's involved in it.
Yes.
Right?
That's
right.
So
I don't have any trouble saying, I heard something from Knock. I heard something from Bullinger. I heard something from Welch or Sellers or Ballinger or, I heard something. And then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
Now there might have been 4 chapters, all the 4 chapters before that was like, they're reciting their traditions, you know, and then all of a sudden it's like, yes, okay. And then, Father opens it up. So we're not ashamed any more than Paul is ashamed to say, hey, you know how this learning started and how Father brought in realization. He did it with Epaphras, and because he was a dispenser of Christ to you, and that's who we are. We're dispensers of Christ, sharing our journey, So Father,
go ahead.
There you go.
I cannot help but imagine when we are manifest, the realization of how limited our language was.
Yes.
I mean, there's no way that the realizations to come,
yes,
that we'll go, we didn't even have words for that.
Exactly.
We didn't have a way of understanding.
Yeah.
A frame of reference for this.
Not going to need
Exactly.
words.
No.
You're not going to need them a lot of times.
Right. I think of it being an entirely different type of language, not words,
Right.
That type.
Right.
It's something else.
Yeah.
It's the spirit.
Yeah.
It's
For
the
sure.
spirit. It's the energy
It is.
that
Yeah.
we're going to be living in.
And so it's beyond words.
Yeah.
It's beyond information. It's beyond education. It's beyond those things. It's epa.
Yeah.
And wow. Yeah. And that's that big, that's that post-mortem amazement that our brother Mike Owens likes to talk about.
Yeah.
All of us are going to have this grand amazement when the veil's lifted for everyone,
Yeah.
And that's just going to be awesome.
The other thing that's comforting to me when you look, if we want to talk about fields of study and then how our genius minds of today will study whatever the topic is, trying to learn about the cosmos and learn about the human body or whatever. So many of them, when it does come out, it gets real basic to where they themselves see, I really don't know what. They can't explain energy or thought or consciousness or some things. So they can talk in these big worlds and we all want to be like that and learn more knowledge. But even a lot of those minds, I find that very comforting. They kind of are admitting,
Yes.
They admit that they really don't know.
Yes.
They don't know what they're, talking about. All they can do is describe, you said it, we're kind of limited. All we have right now is some of this information.
Yeah.
There's some genius minds that can put that information together and teach us things.
Right.
But it shows me even that's not, that's just the start of some things here maybe. So, so all of us can be encouraged. Oh, wait, I can tap into that relationship.
Yeah.
I can go into these different realms of thought with Father. I'm not behind because I don't have knowledge or whatever of this, because they haven't gotten there either as far as really experiencing all what there is to experience.
Yeah. That brings me up to years ago when we called ourselves Mortal Fury. Dean found this clip of these scientists who were looking at the universe. And they ended up talking about this force out there. And it seems to be doing, and they called it the Great Attractor.
Yeah.
And you and I just cracked up as soon, you brought it to me and said, look at this.
Yeah, they're studying it.
And they're the Great Attractor. And we just loved it.
They know it's there. They see it. They're starting to measure it.
Yeah.
Trying to.
Yeah. I like that. Great Attractor. That's just another name for Dad.
Exactly.
I know.
Exactly.
He's the Great Attractor,
Right.
Like that dark. Yeah. And the stuff that I had been reading was the dark energy,
That's right.
And dark in the sense was we don't know anything about this energy. Wait a minute. Wait. I got some information about that. Some realization, right?
Right.
Another way to contrast gnosis, and again, gnosis is used multiplied times more in the Greek scriptures than epignosis, and so gnosis is very important again. And to make that contrast again between gnosis and epignosis is that, especially for me, and there's people that have tremendous memories, photographic, I mean, just tremendous. So everything they read and so forth, they got it all memorized and they can recite. For me, that's why I started the Bible Students Notebook. It's a notebook where I put things that I read that are good. It's a place where I put my notes from my studies.
Yeah.
And because my memories, I can't remember things very well. Never have been since I was young. And so I put them all in this notebook. And then I started thinking, hey, I should publish this notebook.
Yeah.
And so now we just got in volume 40, bound volume 44. Now there's 44 of these big volumes of notebooks. Yeah. And they contain a journey of people I've read and of my associates and of things I've studied. And so if you ask me about certain things, I would go to the index for the Bible Students Notebook and find out where that is. And I can point you to that. And I'm going to say that's gnosis. The Bible Students Notebook, that's all the Bible Students Notebook could be is gnosis. It can't be epignosis, because that's the divine imposition can't be a periodical or a publication or a book or a speaker, or it can only be gnosis. So it's gnosis. And one of the distinctions between gnosis and epignosis is if we're sitting in a room and we're having a conversation about something and something comes up that is just information. Again, I can go to the index and say, here, read this stuff, and it can help. This is my current understanding. Yeah. But if you've got epignosis, you don't need to go to the Bible Students Notebook if you're sitting in a room.
Yeah.
Because somebody touches on that subject.
Yeah.
And you're off to the races because you're full of it.
Yes. Yeah. That's the energy.
Right. It's energy. Yeah. I don't need the Bible Students Notebook to sit in a room and talk to you about charis. We can go on all afternoon. Okay. Right. Or realization, or some of these other words we're, learning and investigating. And, but a lot of stuff I gotta go back to the notes.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Good point.
I'm thinking of my early, when early in our 30 years, when someone said that there's Paul's letters, and then, I started hearing this two gospel thing. That was gnosis, Yes. And then when I got into scripture, Galatians, and then all of a sudden, wow, this is really big, and then you just started consuming everything about it. You couldn't put it down, and there was something going on internally, I think that was evidence. So now that epignosis, now it serves me, because when I'm reading, I'm like, okay, who's the author? Who's the time? Is Jesus on the earth, off the earth? Yeah. It serves me today in that way. That knowledge resonated. Now it's in me.
Yeah.
It's that divine energy. It's the Spirit of God. So I eat that stuff up.
And here's another way you can distinguish this too. Because if you get epignosis, if you get the divine imposition of authority and power leading you to a decisive and transformative power of a particular truth, once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah, that's right.
It is life altering.
Yes.
In my 50 years of teaching the scriptures, I have people who were all along the way, who were on board with wherever I was at that moment, and then turned ship. They turned course, and abandoned what they were supposed to be on board with. I have people who, and more recently, say in the last 15 years, I've had people who have changed their mind about the sovereignty of God, who've changed their mind about the salvation of all, who've changed their mind about Paul's distinct ministry. You know what that tells me? They had gnosis, but they didn't have epignosis.
Yeah.
And they probably had gnosis because of some influence that maybe I had or someone else had in their life. And people do this on their journey. Well, Clyde says, and so they believe what Clyde believes, right? Or, Reverend Jones down here, he says, that's what we believe. But when you get epignosis, there's no turning back.
Right.
Once you really see, you can't unsee what you've seen.
Right.
And it changes our lives.
I so appreciate that clarity on that, because we have talked about that very thing over and over again without so good an analogy as just what you proposed. I have wondered, I have tried to verbalize all of these things Dean and I pursued in our young adult lives.
Yeah.
Promise keepers.
Yeah.
The different programs, gnosis, information to make us that good Christian dad, that good Christian husband.
Yep.
I could not explain until today, I could not explain why for 30 years I have been so engaged in this pursuit of knowing Father, of having a relationship with Father.
Yeah.
I could not put it into words.
Yeah.
Why this has held me, how it's kept me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's continually kept me engaged. All those programs, all that gnosis I pursued, that was man's.
Yeah.
Well-meaning, all of that. I get all of that. It fell short.
Yeah.
And now you basically said it's the epignosis that has kept me engaged.
Yes.
It's looking for the next one. And I'll wait.
Exactly.
I'll wait, because what I got right now is more than sufficient.
And the wonderful thing is we're on this journey together. I am so excited, It would be, not that I wouldn't be excited about realization, but when you have other brothers that have the same resonation,
Yeah.
and it's beyond words, and when I think about it being beyond words, I can't help but think about you, Dean. So after a while, when you know what charis means, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what you put in the sentence. You can put the Greek word in if you want, charis, or you could put you could put grace. It's okay. You can put joy. You can put whatever you want in there, because we got it. I'm gonna know what that is, no matter what word, because this is beyond words. And the example of that always comes from you, Dean. You texted me one time back, and you talked about, instead of using grace or charis, you just used the Greek number. That we have this Greek number. You use numbers.
Yeah.
And you're communicating to me realization just using
A number.
a number.
I know.
And that's why this has nothing to do with language. It has something to do with divine energy. Yeah. And once you got it, it doesn't even matter. Use numbers if you want.
Hey, well, I'm with you there. So I get those moments, and here, I'll just tell you something funny. When I was on that time period, I don't remember exactly what I was thinking when I text. So
good.
I don't remember exact that, but I know during that time, when those things hit numbers, I was doing something like Chris and I do. I'm like, I'm gonna put that on a T-shirt or something. That's what my mind was doing, and so I'm with you. It doesn't matter, and at those times, I think I'd rather use a number or use the word charis. I was in scripture reading this charis.
Yeah.
Like I got Kara because of charis and because of this, and you start separating, and it makes sense.
Yeah,
making sense to within it, there's something behind that.
Yeah, there is.
Well, I do like that, and I like that freedom that you said it. It just doesn't matter. There may be a time where we'll use the different words for it, grace or whatever word we're going to use. There may be a particular reason to use a different word at that moment, but it's the number. I love that, seeing that number. That's how I was talking to myself about it.
Yeah. And there's probably not a week goes by I don't think about that text that you sent me. And it just makes me smile.
Yeah.
Because it speaks not to information. It speaks to realization.
Yeah. I am so grateful in our relationship over the course of time. Something that I have drawn from, I know from conversations you and I've had, that I've said things in the past to you that you didn't feel a need to correct me. Today, I can look back and go, that wasn't, but Clyde didn't feel the need to become my tutor, to become my authority, to become my answer man.
Yeah.
He knew enough to let Father continue my journey. Right. That's a great gift that you could, today I see it as a great gift that you were just so comfortable to let Father continue his work with me. Yeah. And you didn't feel the need to jump in there and correct.
Yeah.
And that now has now I'm finally realizing and gaining great peace from, I don't need to jump in and correct,
Yeah. Yeah. The people in our lives, whether it's our wives or children or grandchildren or neighbors or coworkers or associates, whoever we come in contact with, we have no need to constantly address every little misstep they make in their language or, their perceptions. In fact, we could have no conversation with people if we were constantly correcting all that.
That's right.
We realize that's only that they're only operating from their point of epigenosis. So, I think it's always we're looking at the bigger picture. Yesterday morning we spent some time spent 3 hours at breakfast with a new acquaintance, Stephen Hill, and Nathan and I did, and he brought up a dozen issues that we all would love to have taken off on, but we'd have been there a month, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so you just gotta, you reel it in, you realize, okay, where's he at the moment, and what is he, what's the light that's needed right now? Yeah. And it's a beautiful thing, again, we're not in charge of persuading anybody.
Right.
You know,
You were just such an encourager. You know, I think back to that visit, and it was just, and I look back at maybe things I said or whatever, and I was like, he could have, but you were just such an encourager, you know, and clearly very much trusting Father for my journey.
Yeah.
You know, and so I so appreciate it because it gives me peace on how I deal with loved ones and people around me now.
Yeah, we approach truth like we got a machine gun.
Yeah.
You know, and all we're doing is either killing people or driving them away and driving them into hiding. You know, when we just throw our arms open and our hearts open and
and certainly the other way, and you've done this too. I've seen as another maybe encouragement for us all. As when we're using that machine gun, there's ways to look at, or Chris, you're talking about being with someone, or you're learning to take things in. But then also when we do that, we're learn. There's so much to learn for ourselves personally. From the other, so we can look at that as a selfish thing. You go ahead and just take on the selfishness of it. Right. That's helping me maybe in a weird way to where, now wait a minute, of course I'm not the answer man, but what? And this could be from somebody, I would have an extreme difference of an opinion or something, say. So this would be really troubling. I'm like, maybe I'm tap in, if I can hear their struggle or hear what they're dealing with or whatever.
That's what I'm talking about.
That can help. That helps us then learn something.
Yes. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, I didn't even realize, and then we're off to the races, then we get more realization based on someone else's experience. Their perceived struggle or experience or whatever. Yeah. So it's all a distraction the way it's set up, the way we've looked at it. Yeah, we looked at it as defending a position.
Yeah.
The truth. I'll use my gun and they'll use theirs. And it's the world we live in, right? Who's got the bigger gun? That's the world we live in.
And that taps back into something I said earlier in our conversation, is that even truth can become a distraction.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
And even if you're talking to someone who does study the scriptures and they've got something on their heart and they're trying to express something, and you're interrupting every sentence by a correction about something minor compared to the bigger picture of what's on their heart and where God has them. And you could just, it can be the truth can be a tool of the adversary.
Absolutely. Yeah. For sure.
He's shrewd.
Yeah. I so appreciate you and Steve putting this time together and help, making time for us to get together. I knew this was going to be a great talk. I knew it. The subject was going to be too good. Not to get together and do. And then also, hey, tell Nathan and Stephen we said hey.
Okay, I will. Yeah.
He talked about. Here's Steve.
There he is.
Steve, you should have jumped on there. Were you listening the whole time?
I was listening the whole time.